Hello everyone, welcome back to another Unreal Engine tutorial. In this tutorial, we're going to learn how to create a sliding door. So when we are close to the door, it's going to open and close like this. Alright, let's get started. First, let's import our gate. So this is the mesh. I will create a new folder here. I'm going to call sci-fi gate. Open it up. And let's drag and drop the gate inside. Just click import all. Ignore these errors, they're not important. So I'm going to save all. Now there is a slight problem with one of the meshes. So this is the one gate cube 001. If you open it up, it's going to be like this. I don't know how this happened, but we're going to fix it in a second. Simply delete this mesh. We're going to duplicate this mesh in the blueprint. Now let's create another folder for the textures. You can simply delete these three, we don't need them. Actually they are in the material, so let's delete them from inside. So we don't need this. I will just delete these textures. We're going to import the other ones. So open up the textures folder. So simply get all of this and import it in the engine. You can just click OK on this one. Save all. Now open the textures. Let's drag and drop the base color. And base go into the base. And metallic is going into metallic. Now the roughness, click and drag onto the graph. So for the roughness, we have to import from the A into the roughness. Now we're going to need the emissive color. And we need the normal one. Now let's apply the colors and save. Now let's see if we open up the gate. These are the textures. And the material is applied automatically because we have it imported already. And also the gate. So now for this, if you go to show simple collision, we see we have collision all over the place. That means we cannot go through. So go to the collision. Let's remove the collision completely. Simply go in the bottom right corner and click apply. And it's going to generate automatically, so this is enough. Click save, and we can close the frame. And let's see what collision does this have. To make it more optimized, let's remove the collision. And let's add a simple box collision. So this is going to be enough. Let's go save and let's close this down. And we can close the material as well. Now let's create a blueprint. So right click, blueprint class of actor. Let's name this sliding door. Open it up. Let's add a static mesh. And let's name this mesh gate frame. SM for static mesh. Let's add the frame. So with the frame selected, click this arrow. Now it's imported. Now click and drag the frame and make it as a root, like this. Compile and save. Now let's drag and drop into the world. So we need the blueprint in the world. You can click and drag like this and press the End key to snap it on the floor. And let's rotate towards us for 90 degrees. This is perfect. Now let's add the left and the right door. Go back to the blueprint. Let's add another static mesh. Let's name this left gate underscore SM. Open the content drawer and select this one and assign it over here. So this is going to be left. You see, it's automatically snapping inside. And now the simplest way to do it, select the gate and Ctrl D to duplicate, or alternatively right click and go duplicate. And let's rename this right gate. And simply with the right gate selected, press E to turn on the rotation tool, and on the Z-axis, let's rotate for 180. Now they are perfectly aligned and set. So compile and save. Now let's see how they look in the world. Perfect. Okay, back to the blueprint. Now let's add a trigger box so we can make events for opening and closing. So type trigger box. Actually in the blueprint it's called collision box. So box collision. And let's name this open close underscore trigger. Now with the trigger box selected, in the top right corner type collision. In the collision presets, let's go to the custom and let's ignore all. So all we need to do is for the pawn overlap. We don't want to trigger events with something else, such as projectile or other objects. We want only the pawn to trigger events. Okay, let's type also hidden so you can see it in the game. So uncheck this. Also for optimization purposes, never scale trigger boxes with the scale tool over here. So don't do like something like this. So let's go back to 1. Instead, we should go to the box extent. Let's make it the y-axis something like this. Maybe 400. And white, it can be something like 200. Oh, this is too much. Let's go to 150. And for the height, maybe 100 or maybe 50. That's okay. Compile and save. Now let's go to the event graph and delete these 3 nodes. We don't need them. Now with the box collision selected, scroll all the way down. We need component begin overlap. Select again, and we need for end overlap. Now as always, from here, from other actor, never type cast to third person character. This is not good for optimization. I have the whole tutorial for this. So never use this. Instead, we are going to use like this. So from other actor, type equal. And right click, type get player character. So now we are checking if the player is colliding with this box. Hold down B and left click to call a branch. And when the player overlaps, we're going to trigger event. And also we can select this and Ctrl D to duplicate. So this is for the end overlap, when the player is leaving the box. So for opening, right click and type timeline. So add timeline. Let's type door timeline. So when the player touches the box, we're going to open the door. And when the player leaves the box, we're going to close the door. It goes to reverse. Now double click to open the timeline. Now this is the speed, how fast we want to open the gate. Let's say in 0.3 seconds. Let's create a track of float. And let's rename this track door alpha. Now let's create a keyframe. Right click and add key. The first is going to be 0 time and 0 value. So this is the beginning. 0 and 0. And for the second keyframe, you can hold down shift and left click. This time and the length needs to match. So time needs to be 0.3 and the value is going to be 1. So 1 is the default value. And click these buttons to see the timeline completely. So our job is done here. Let's close the timeline. From here, from the alpha, drag a pin and type lerp. So we need lerp float. And this needs to go to the alpha. Now let's get the left gate. Click and drag onto the graph. And from here, set relative location. Set relative location. And now this is a vector and this is a float. We can right click on the vector and split struct pin. Now let's see how can we open the left gate. If you go back to the viewport, let's select the left gate. So the door is closed and these are the values when the door is closed. If you click and drag the left gate towards left, you see how it updates here to the x-axis. So in -100 to the x-axis, we need to push the left gate. And the other gate needs to go the other way, which means +100. So you can either click and drag to 100, or you can simply put it here. So now they are equally separated. Now we need to bring this back to 0 because that's the default value when it's closed. Now left is supposed to be -100. So A is the original location, which means when it's closed, and B is opened. So for B, we have to put -100. And let's see in which axis it was. So this is the red, the X. Okay, so we need this to go to the X. And these two are going to be 0 as default. And update is going to go here. So we have to do the same thing, just opposite value of this. So let's copy and paste the relative location. And for this we need the right gate. Because the right gate goes for 100 and left goes to -100. So let's also copy the lerp. And we can get the pin from here and get the return value to the X. And this one's supposed to be 100. Now let's recap. When the player touches the trigger box, we're going to play the timeline and we're going to open the left and right gate at the same time. So left is going to go -100 and right gate is going to go 100. So left and right. And if we leave the box, it's going to go reverse. So this is going to go from -100 to 0. So it's going to interpolate from A to B. So open, close. Now let's see in action. Now when I play the game, this is the trigger box. Now when we touch it, now we are entering And when you exit, it's going to close. Now let's do a few more things. First, let's select the left gate and right-click collapse to function. Let's rename the function left gate opening. And these three as well. Right-click, collapse to function. It's going to be right gate opening. Now we have perfectly clean and optimized code. Now let's open this up to make it more cleaner. Open the right one. And let's close the functions. If you want to have sound for opening and closing, let's just put this over here. And let's disconnect the play and reverse. So right click and type sound 2D. So we need play sound 2D. So when you open the door, we have one sound. Let's copy this. And when you close the door, we're going to have another sound. Now open the content drawer and find a sound that suits you. So I just found these sounds and simply assign it to the arrow. Now compile and save. Let's see if it's working. It's working perfectly fine. Alright everyone, that wraps up this tutorial. I hope you found this tutorial helpful and learned something new. If you'd like to get early access to more tutorials like this, grab free assets, or even vote on what I create next, make sure to check out my Patreon. The link is in the description. There are multiple tiers depending on what you need, from monthly 2D assets, 3D models, full courses, and much more. You will also get lifetime access to everything, even if you decide to cancel your subscription. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next tutorial.